Okay, we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're joining. Welcome everyone to the Sigstore community meeting. And we are going to kick off with a project round robin. For anyone who's joining new, just before we get into this, there will be an opportunity towards the end of the call to say hi and introduce yourself. So yeah, just enjoy, listen, and at the end, you're welcome to give a quick hello. So project round robin, let's start with Rico. Any updates from the Rico side? Okay, I'm moving on. Fulcio?
No updates.
Sorry, I was muted. For Recore, if we jump back there quick, there's one PR that's pretty close to ready to go in from Frederick on adding Cosign support. So that should make it into the next release.
Great. Yeah, if you've got the link to the PR, just drop that in. Okay, Fulcio, Hayden, was your update was it Fulcio that had no update?
Yeah. There's some PRs, but I'll talk about them when they're merged in. They're just some small things.
Cosign?
Jason has been doing a great job detangling some of the dependencies and moving more work over to the Sigstore library. That's the majority of what's been merged in the past couple days.
Nice. Great. Anything else? Cosign's questions? Okay, on to Gitsign.
Yeah, I can take this one. So we had a blog post go out last week, intro to Gitsign, which had a nice wave of new people trying it out. So we're over 400 stars on GitHub now. We also released 0.1 and 0.1.1, basically to ship the changes to the public Fulcio instance. And then we've also been helping out with the Sigstore packages. We've been using Gitsign as basically like the guinea pig for what things do Cosign and Gitsign share. So we'll be trying to pull more things into there so we can remove the Cosign dependency altogether. So that's it for Gitsign.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, and congratulations. Yeah, it was a great blog post, and I'm glad that it picked up so much traction. So nice to see that people care about commit signing. Okay, and anything else on Gitsign? Any folks want to ask? Otherwise, we'll move on to Java. These are the folks looking specifically at Sigstore adoption in the Java community.
I don't know if Apu's here, so I'll just start talking. We have a Rico client landed last week. Apu updated the full show client to use gRPC. I see a question here. I'm not sure who asked it. Does anybody know where that came from? Where do we store secrets that can be shared with developers on a project? No? Anybody? Okay. And that's the news for Java, unless anybody else has anything to add.
That secrets question might belong under GA or something different, but yeah, I don't understand what that has to do with Java or who put it there.
I think that was Apu who was asking the question earlier. But I don't think it's Java specific.
Yeah, I guess let's take that up on the Sigstore GA chat room.
Okay. And just as a reminder for folks, there is a dedicated community sync on the work happening around Java and Maven, and that's straight after this community meeting. So find it on the Sigstore calendar if you're interested in finding out more or being involved with that. Okay, Python. Do we have anybody here on the Python side of things? No? Okay, and root. Got the signing event. Is that Marina or someone who can speak to that?
I think Oscar probably put that. So we have a new calendar created so that we can so we know when the root signing events need to happen. We resend the root every 6 months. So I think we'll kick off the signing about a month before the root is set to expire. So I think this is just a calendar for those who are key holders when we'll contact you about testing and then when the signing actually should happen. Our plan is we have the postmortem that we're still going through some of the items that came out of it. And once those are all wrapped up, we'll do the V4 signing and then 6 months from that, a V5 route.
Cool. And this is a separate calendar from the Sigstore. Is that about access or?
If you have another way you think we should be creating this, it's a separate calendar because the only people who need to be on it are key holders.
Okay.
So this is not expected that general members of the Sigstore community need to join it.
Okay. Okay, great. So that's the project updates. Unless there's anything else anyone wants to add, we'll move on to Sigstore GA. Do you have anyone from the TSC who can share what's the latest working towards general availability? Bob, anything? Sorry, I can see you on my screen.
Yeah. So I would say, like, we continue to have the weekly meetings on Mondays to go through a list of task items. Last week at the TSC meeting, we reviewed the current list of open issues and started to do the prioritization work around what we felt like needed to be in scope for GA versus out of scope for GA. We're also in the process of editing whether you want to, I guess effectively it's a blog post to where we're ultimately going to state what is in GA, what the intent for where we want to take the community in terms of offering these services, removing the experimental flags and setting up proper SLOs and on-call rotations and all the stuff that goes along with it. So that's currently being edited by the TAC members. So hopefully I have more updates to share around that. But there's also kind of the technical work that's been going on to continue to harden run books and clean up additional infrastructure items that go along with all that. So I don't want to undersell the technical work going along with the administrative overhead that goes along with getting all this pulled together. But so I don't know, Priya or Kenny, if you have any technical updates that you wanted to share. Or Simon or Hayden or anybody else that's involved in that. Not to put the two of you on the spot, but
no worries. Yeah, no big updates. I think we're just, chugging along, working through some of the issues. Once we have that defined list, then I think we can start working on that and like really, start making progress again as well.
yeah,
Nice.
Makes sense. And we, as Hayden pointed out to me earlier, I think it was also in one of the Slack channels, US Central 1, which is a GCP region in Iowa, was having some API issues with GKE this morning. I don't know if that's actually resolved or not, but so we're technically in some sort of an outage as we speak here. So
It was resolved. It was resolved like 3 hours ago. Yeah, the cluster itself stayed up, which is good. It was just the API that was down, so you just couldn't see that the cluster was there.
Okay,
Not
got
great.
it.
Not horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Crisis averted. Awesome.
One other small thing I just want to point out is this was also talked about in the Sigstore GA channel, though if you're on Hacker News, it's I think the top post right now. Grafana, I think I said that right, just announced a open source project for on-call. Very interesting, promising project. This is an alternative to PagerDuty, which is a paid product. It'll be interesting to see, comparisons of the two as people start learning more about this new project. I'll drop a link in the doc now, but just wanted to mention, I think it'll definitely be something we'll look into to manage on call.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thanks for that. So moving on to just general outreach and events. Next week is the Open Source Summit with the starter day of OpenSSF Day. I believe a bunch of folks on this call will be at that event. So yeah, great opportunity folks to connect and get together. I did see one specific Sigstore talk, which is demystifying digital signatures from Priya on the Monday. And yeah, I believe there's a Sigstore announcement. Lisa, are you on the call?
Yes, so John Speed Mayers and I have recently completed a full course of Sigstore through the Linux Foundation, where it's going to be soft release this week, but we will announce that full release next week with the Open Source Summit. And this will be free for the community to use through edX. And if folks want to get a certificate through the Linux Foundation, they could go through the course that way.
So yeah, no, look out for that announcement next week. But yeah, nice to just get some good accessible materials for folks who are kind of completely new to software signing and Sigstore in particular, just to kind of understand how to fit everything together. Okay, any questions on that? I'll move on to the next event. So kubecon in North America is going to be in Detroit in October. I think traditionally Sigstore has had a booth at kubecon. So one open question is there any intent to have another booth? And there's another option as well around a co-located day. So kubecon typically opens up the days ahead of the conference to project co-located. We do kind of need one or two companies to sponsor it to make it happen, but that's looking likely that we can figure something out there. So one big question is, if that were to go ahead, what would we call it? Would it be like a Sigstore Day, SigstoreCon, Sigstore Summit? So open to ideas if folks want to throw this out in the doc or in the channel. And then secondly, folks, if any of your companies are interested in sponsoring, I think, yeah, let me or the TSC know. We'll start to gather interest so we can see if we have enough momentum to make this actually happen, which would be, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Dan dropped that. I think we're still trying to finalize exact pricing and everything else that goes along with that. So some of it will just be, hey, if you can indicate interest, that would be great, and then we'll figure out the logistics as it goes forward. But I think, yeah, it sounds like a great idea to me. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I think we have plenty of stuff to cover. But obviously, it depends on folks showing up to pay. So. I think aspirationally, I think the booth is something we want to continue to do. It's been well attended both the last two kubecons. I think it's a good way to drive community outreach. So I would say we, at least speaking on behalf of the TAC, I don't see Luke or Dan on, but I would say that I feel pretty confident saying that we would want to probably continue to do that again next round.
And that's typically something the TAC takes the lead on getting sorted. Is that right, Bob? Nice.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, that will be exciting. Logo updates round 2. Let me drop an issue in. But yeah, as folks recall, we went through a logo refresh for the main Sigstore logo, and that was completed. The next kind of follow-up items were to get we have the existing guidelines, which have the old logo, so those need an update, and also we wanted an update for the sub-project logos. So there is an issue with this, and I have got some things to show. So I'll show those here. You're welcome to give feedback here or drop it in the GitHub issue. But there's a set of, I don't know if you can see this. Is this showing up? So this color palettes. So the idea is because we have a new color for the main logo, we want to get something complementary that we can use for sub-project logos and also on the website. So there's a few options through there. I'll flip through them quickly. but feel free to take a look in your own time and leave any comments. And then the other side of it, let me bring up. Was the idea of using the similar type seal, but using the existing symbols for the sub-projects, and also making it clear that they're part of the Sigstore project. So I think there's 2 variants on there. And I believe we did want a different logo for Fulcio. I know I discussed that with Luke, so we're going to request that. And also a new logo for the GitSign project that fits in there. So any thoughts at this stage? Any comments folks want to? Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, just on the last project-specific logos, I know that kind of ties in with a point that was made in Slack earlier today around maybe not proposing a name change, but even adding just, hey, Sigstore Fulcio Certificate Authority or Sigstore Recore, you know, a transparency log or something like that, to where the names aren't just, you know, project names and we don't know what they ultimately mean in terms of that. I guess renaming the projects to be something more generic is a different conversation, but
yeah,
I think from a logo perspective, it might be helpful if as at least a step in that direction.
right. So renaming, yeah, that would be a heavy lift, but if we can do things to make it more clear, I'll remind people, because I certainly always forget which is the log, which is the CA. And Jacques, do you want to
add 2 things? One very quickly is, could we get a link in the docs? Just because I can't find that easily. The other one is probably the closest we can technically get to bike shedding without a bike shedding being the subject, which is to talk about colors. Very quickly, red and blue are very hard to look at. Like, the eye is bad at resolving these 2 in contrast. So I would be against red and blue being used together.
Okay. So stay away from any red. I think we've committed to the blue. So we can, yeah,
it's just when you have them like together, like for people like me who have dodgy eyes, it becomes very blurry, like having those 2 colors on top of each other. So basically just a different mix is what I'm driving at.
Nice. That's good feedback. And yeah, drop the link into the doc. Any other quick comments, questions folks want to add in now? Oh, eyes become dodgy over time. Too true. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about certain colors, especially red, for color blindness and things as well. Okay, so I have dropped the link to that, so do feel free to go and give feedback at your leisure, and then we'll collate all of that again, send it back, and just iterate as needed till we get to general consensus on the new set of logos and the brand kit. Okay, on to any other business. Bob. So should we cancel the meeting next week to the Open Source Summit North America? Yeah, I'm open to that. If a lot of folks are there, we could, if there's some specific working topics for folks who aren't there, I'd also be open to doing a working meeting. I'm not going to be there personally, so quick show of hands. Anybody strongly want to have the meeting next week? Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and cancel that and just give everybody a break and focus time at the conference. Y'all should get together while you're there and have a meeting. Cool. Okay, and we've got Depop's. Zach or Hayden?
Hey, I'll take this because Hayden's had a couple of agenda items already. So the summary is there is a proposed enhancement to OAuth, not OIDC, but to OAuth called DPOPs, which stands for Demonstration of Proof of Possession at the Application Layer. At the application layer just didn't make it into the acronym, so I don't know about that. There's a lot of detail in the documents I've linked below, but the short version of what they are is they are like regular OAuth tokens, but they actually bind a key pair, the public key and a key pair, to the access token that they're granting you. There have been some folks who have sort of talked about are Depop sort of a replacement for Fulcio? And they seem like they might do it. In practice, as they are implemented and proposed today, they do not. Hayden and I independently tried to investigate this question. We both came to very similar conclusions, which is it would be possible to really contort the Depop proposal to make it work as sort of a way that moved a lot of the role of Fulcio into the OIDC providers, but in the near term, it's not going to happen. So this is, I guess, not that interesting of an agenda item in that all I am saying is it probably nothing is going to happen. It's a cool technology with some benefits, but we are not planning to adopt it in the near term, and certainly not as a replacement for Fulcio. So more details in the doc, but just wanted to share those out. And Hayden has a doc, I have a doc. I think they're both pretty similar because we have pretty similar opinions on this. And the only reason there are two docs is because we made them without knowing about each other.
Thanks. Yeah, great minds think alike. But yeah, no, thanks for highlighting that. And yeah, anybody who wants to, please do feel free to dig into that. Okay, yeah, now we're open to any new items, and I see Josh is in there. Josh, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Yeah, I wasn't here last week on this call, but I see Vile started talking about this. A bunch of the server-side Cosign code from Cosign was moved into a new repo, so there's a link there. There was some mismatch between the repos, but I think that's resolved now. So anything co-signed or previously denoted co-signed is now in that repo.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that update. I don't see any questions. Just ta-da from Jason. Okay, any other topics folks want to cover before we get into intros and saying hi to folks?
I posted something in that comment that, I mean, hella sketchy repo, don't get me wrong, but digging into the whatever organization is behind that, it's called like a TPM or a PMP. But interested just to see what like initial thoughts are without contextualizing that much further.
Sorry, is that on the policy controller?
That is actually right there. It's it's being shared on the screen. It's any other business. I just made a comment and linked to GitHub repo.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Thanks for the comment.
Yeah, the only 2 cents I'll throw in on that are I think Luke Hines, who's not on the call today, is probably the best community member that could give you kind of an update around the intersection with TPM and some of the other work there. We may have other folks that have opinions or perspective, but I would point you to Luke as a place to start.
Thank you.
Yeah, and worth bringing up again maybe at a time when Luke is around, so we can resurface that one. Great. Okay, let's get into introductions for anyone who's new or wants to say hi or highlight something, what brings them into the community. This is your chance.
The reason why I'll let the hand.
All right. Right, didn't you go ahead, Cameron, and then we'll do Erica and Kara.
Okay, right on. Yeah, Cameron Banowski. This is actually my first Sigstore community meeting. My company joined OpenSSF a month ago, maybe, and kind of a different but aligned line of effort for some of the stuff that's happening in the Department of Defense is like what I have been focused on, and so catching up, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome. Glad you can join us, and yeah, keep bringing up things on the agenda. Next, Erica.
Hi, I think this is probably my second meeting, but I didn't present myself. I'm Erica Heidi, and I started Chain Guard recently this month. And yes, so I'm currently working on adding the Git sign docs to the Sigstore website. So just wanted to say hi.
Great. Thanks, Erica. And any docs contribution, always very welcome. Hey, Kara.
Hi, I'm Kara Olive. I'm from Google. I'm a technical writer, so also looking to help out with documentation. So
Yay, hooray.
Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, very welcome. And yeah, love docs. That's great. And Eric.
Although I've actually been to the meeting, but it's been some time since I've been able to attend, so I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Eric Tice. I work for Wipro Technologies. I lead the technical consulting and Center of Excellence within our OSPO group. Wipro is a member of OpenSSF, and I've been taking part in a lot of the mobilization and other projects that have been going on more recently. Our interest in Sigstore is as part of a lot of these working groups and the SALSA framework and a number of other components. We're looking at ways to improve kind of best practices and automate the tooling around digital signatures and other components within the SDLC. For very much trying to push the developer shift left as part of our DevSecOps practice and offerings. So we do a lot of this work. I have a number of people in my COE who are ramping up on Go for the components that they have less experience in Go. Most of them are Java and are looking for places to contribute to the various projects within Sigstore. So we'll be trying to jump in and be proactively contributing as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, love to hear it. And yeah, and to you, Eric, and to everybody else, yeah, do let us know. Like we do have this agenda around the projects, but we'd also like to cover other topics of interest, especially from kind of the end user perspective. So if there's something you want to bring up, yeah, feel free to reach out to me, and I can help get that on the agenda or set up appropriate discussions for topics folks want to see covered in these meetings. Great, so welcome. And we have Paul. So yeah, great to welcome intros, re-intros. Paul, go ahead. So did you catch that? Paul Welsh had a hand up. No. Okay, never mind, but let me know if...
Oh, sorry about that. My mic wasn't set. Paul Welch, software engineer at GitHub, and I'm joining the software supply chain team, so getting up to speed with Sigstore.
Great. Welcome, Paul. Okay, with that, yeah, nice to see so many new faces and old faces. Yeah, anybody else wants to cover? Otherwise, we'll leave it there. And all you lucky folks who are meeting next week, do enjoy. Okay, thanks everybody. Take care. Bye.
Thank you guys.